Okay, at this time, I'll call the Budget and Purchasing Committee meeting in order and ask Ashley, if you will, please to call roll.
Cole. Here. Lewis. Here. Mitchell.
Here.
Moon. Here. Samples. Here. You have a quorum.
Now I'll ask if you would to please make the emergency announcement.
Before we get started, let me read the emergency evacuation procedures. In the event of an emergency evacuation, an alarm will sound. Everyone should exit the building by way of the nearest stairwell in a safe and effective manner. If the nearest stairwell is blocked by smoke, use the other stairwell. Do not use the elevator. Once you have reached the main floor, follow the exit signs to exit the building and quickly proceed away from the building. Please be mindful of others evacuating and of emergency vehicles.
At this time, I'll ask if there's any public input on items on the agenda. Seeing none, we'll go on. Item D1, this is awarded bids. It's in the packet. This is for information only. Item E, the approval of the minutes that are also in your packet. They do need approval. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? I'll ask for a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Declare the motion passed. Finance. Next we have the finance portion. F1A, increase decreases. It's the Animal Shelter Fund 101, $12,000 for the commercial washer and dryer. Do I have a motion to put it on the floor?
So moved.
Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a motion and a second. Any discussion? We have Mr. Rafford is here, the director, if you'd like to have any questions for him.
I got one.
Okay. Charles, if you'd come up.
Yes, sir.
Hi. I was wondering, you have the residential style washer and dryers now?
Yes, sir.
Can you give us a little bit more information why those aren't working out or what the issues are?
Well, we do laundry from open to close 7 days a week. They don't have the capacity to keep up with the laundry that we generate. Service technicians cannot come out to service them on location because they're stacked. So we have to take them apart, carry them to be serviced, and then bring them back and reassemble them. So, and plus, once you put a residential washer or dryer into a commercial application, it voids the warranty. So, you know, if you bring a new machine out there, the warranty is gone. It's not going to be honored by the person who sold it to you because of the way it's used.
On the $12,000 bid, have we already bid that out, and that's what they came in at?
Well, I spoke to Laundry Services of Tennessee, Laundry Systems of Tennessee out of Sevierville. That gentleman visited the center and looked at what we needed, made his recommendation, and gave us a bid. And then we put it out for bids. I believe the bids close tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. But, you know, at the worst case scenario, that would be the highest or the lowest bid, I would think, is what he gave us. You know, there may be others that come in below him, but what I'm saying is it won't go any more than what he bid. He bid $19,950, I believe, or $11,950 is what he bid.
Okay, thank you.
Is there any other questions? Okay. Just go ahead and just stay there, Charlie. I'm sure they're going to be some other questions here. All right. I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole.
Yes.
Lewis.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Moon.
Yes.
Samples.
Yes.
The motion's passed.
Item F1B, Animal Shelter Fund 101, $86,015. SMAC F, donations to the Animal Center. Do I have a motion to put this on the floor? Have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, now I'll ask for any discussions. Anybody any questions? Go ahead.
Yes, I was reading the memorandum of understanding, and my question, I guess, is several times during this memorandum, it says the Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation, if funds were available, they would cover those costs. What happens if they don't have the funds, or what becomes of the animal center?
Well, we would continue to operate out of the budget that we have. We just wouldn't be able to provide all the services that we do at this moment because of Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation's contribution to the center. They don't have any reason to believe that their grants are going to go away, but they reapply for them and on an annual basis, and they've been receiving them, I guess, for several years now. So, but they put that language in to say that we can't guarantee every year that these funds will be here for you, but if we don't have them, we'll just, for instance, not be able to do the transport program unless I can figure out a way to do that within my existing county budget.
One more question.
Yes, sir.
It looks like you're adding another associate to the animal center.
We're adding another employee, an animal control officer. Yes, sir.
So, let's say worst case scenario, the funding isn't there next year to support that. How would you address that?
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about it. We're adding a veterinarian. Our veterinarian, who is a full-time veterinarian now, is fully funded by Smoky Mountain Animal Care Foundation, and they're going to continue to do that, but she will become a county employee, and then they will pay her salary and benefits. She understands that if the grants go away, that she will no longer have a job. So
Okay, so that's clear.
Yes, sir. She's in total understanding of that, and she's fine with that.
Thank you.
Any other discussion? I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole? Lewis? Yes. Mitchell?
Yes.
Moon? Yes. Samples? The motion's passed.
Okay, under transfers, F2A, animal shelter, $18,495, salaries and benefits. Ask for a motion to get it on the floor. Have a motion, do I have a second? Have a motion and a second. I'll now open it up for discussion. Do you want to explain what this is?
This is adding an animal control position to our staff. We presently have one animal control officer that covers all of unincorporated Blount County plus the city of Louisville. So he's on call 365 days a year, and he's responsible for that area, all the animal control calls that happen in there. So we're in desperate need of an additional animal control officer.
How many custodial personnel do you have now?
We don't have any, you're talking about people that clean the building?
It's coming from, the line item, the funding's coming from the transfers custodial,
We don't have any custodial people. We do our own cleaning and the majority of our own maintenance.
but you had
No, that's
18,000.
actually coming out of my custodial line, where we did away with a position to move that,
51, okay.
to move that money from that position over to this one.
Thank you.
But that's where we've actually cut a position to create that funding. Any other questions? Okay, I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole? Yes. Lewis? Yes. Mitchell?
Yes.
Moon? Yes. Samples? Yes. The motion's passed.
All right, thank you, Charlie.
Thank you.
Item G, fiscal year budget calendar 15-16. Randy?
We're required to submit a calendar by which we'll operate on for the upcoming budget cycle. And this calendar was put together with Ashley taking the lead and working with Rhonda to make sure we had all the appropriate dates that commission will be expected to consider on your calendar. And it is no significant changes from last year. So this would be what we would propose we operate by in the upcoming budget cycle.
Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Have a motion, do I have a second? Is there any discussion on the budget calendar? I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole? Yes. Lewis? Yes. Mitchell?
Yes.
Moon? Yes. Samples? The motion's passed.
Okay, item G2, Blount Memorial Hospital financial statement. At this time, I'd like for Don Heineman, please, to come up and
Thank you. I was just going to kick it off, and then Jonathan Smith, our Chief Financial Officer, is going to go over our audit for this past year. Just for the committee, historically, I've been at the hospital. I'm working on my 30th year, we usually send our audit to the mayor every year, and in consultation with Mayor Mitchell, I guess a few months ago, he thought it'd be a good idea to maybe expand the circle a little bit and review the audit each year with the budget committee. So this is the first time we've done this. We can, Jonathan's going to give you a summary of our audit and our financial statements from the past year, and we can, if you like it, don't like it, if you want to give us more detail or less detail, we'll be happy to. He's going to give a summary of how we've done. I'll just give you about a 30,000 foot view. Going back to when the recession hit and then Obamacare went in, it's been tough in healthcare. We've gone through a few years of losing money at the hospital. We've had to do some restructuring. We've had to recruit some new doctors and do a number of things. This past year, we turned the corner. Some of those things started to pay off, and I think the economy started getting a little bit better. And we finally made money this year. We're on budget this year to make money again in the year we're in right now. But he's going to go over the summary of that. Something that I like everybody here to know, like tells me people here as I can, the hospital is probably the best barometer of how this community is doing, of just about anything I can think of. For example, in 2007, right before the recession, we provided about $24 million in indigent care in this community. 2008, after that first year of the recession hit, we provided $34 million. So it's a real barometer of what's going on in your community. People were thrown out of work, people were losing their jobs, their benefits, and you could just see it directly on the hospital financial statements, what's going on, the number of indigent patients we had to provide care for. It's trickled down a little bit. We got down to 32 and close to 30 million. So we're still not anywhere close to where we were before the recession, but you see little gradual improvement there. But it's still significant. Most hospitals look at that as a real burden. I can tell you our board is something that's kind of a badge of honor. We're proud of that. Been able to run that hospital for over 65 years, and when you think about every year, year in, year out, providing $30 million in indigent care without having to use taxpayer dollars, or, to get county commission money to fund that. The hospital's been able to operate and been able to continue that, and had a lot of support from the county, from the cities, from a lot of folks to help that happen. Including this past year, the commission approved some refinancing and bonds that saved us some money, and I think Jonathan will highlight for you that change that we had in our financial statements. But I'm going to let Jonathan come up. This is Jonathan Smith, our Chief Financial Officer.
All right, thank you. Hopefully you have within your pack an electronic version of the audit, and I'll try to do just a summary of the financial statements. Our audit is completed by Coulter & Justice out of Knoxville. And they have given us a clean opinion for this year. Part of the responsibility of the auditors is to express their opinion on those financial statements. It's the responsibility of management to prepare those financial statements. Of course, we're part of the county, and we're subject to governmental audit standards, and they audit us based on that. If you have in the electronic copy on page 3 of the management's discussion and analysis, you see that the part of the financial highlights, that total assets for the year ended at $279 million. That's down slightly from prior year. Our total liabilities on page 4, you'll see that those dropped from $126 million to $119 million. And that gave us a total net position of $170 million increase from $165 million the year prior. Looking at our changes in net position, we had an increase in operating revenues from $206 million to $221 million, from 13 to 14. Our expenses also increased from 214 to 225. However, the operating loss for the year was at $4.1 million, which is right around $3 million of improvement from prior year. Our non-operating income was was positive at $9.3 million. And so that gave us $5.1 million of total bottom line income for the year. Flipping over, you actually do see some detail on page 5 of the revenues and the expenses. And one of the expenses we did want to point out and say thank you to the commission. If you look at our interest expenses from 2013 to 2014, those decreased about $1 million based on the bond refinancing. And those were the E5As and the 1998B bonds that were both refinanced for us. That's sort of high level, all straight from the management discussion and analysis. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Don will be happy to answer any questions about the financials that you have.
Does anyone have any questions?
John, I've got one on the non-operating income, that swing from a small loss to, I guess, a $9 million gain. Can you talk a little bit about what that entailed?
There's two parts of that. The largest is about $7.9 million of investment gains over 2014. And then the other part of that, about $1.4 million of contributions and gains through there, typically through our foundation.
And then the other question I had was the under bond agreements held by trustees. It looked like that went from $2.7 million in 2013 to zero in 2014. That's under the assets limited. What is it?
That's the refinance of the 1998B bonds. Probably the best. Let's see. Let me get you the right table here. You'll see some of the detail. It's basically in footnote 8, but it's the 1998B bonds. Those go from about $7.5 million July 1 of 13 to about 4.2 as of June 30, 14.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Any other questions or discussion?
I have just one point of discussion. On page 25, it's talking about the long-term debt. And it says, as of June 30th, 2014, the hospital is not exposed to credit risk because the swaps have negative fair values. However, if interest rates change and the fair value of the swaps become positive, the hospital would be exposed to credit risk. So I think with the $90 million of debt there, that we need to watch that closely. That's significant, I think.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, thank you. Don, John, thank you all very much. I appreciate you bringing this to the Budget Committee. Thank you. Yeah. Item 3, audit report. Randy?
The state of Tennessee notified us on Wednesday, I guess was it, we were eligible to release the report at 9 a.m. on Friday, so we have done that. We have posted it to our website. You can find it, you should have a piece of correspondence with the direct link to it, but you can find it in the under the accounting tab, and then there is a second tab there on the left-hand side for audit reports, and if you click on that, then you'll see the 2014 audit report listed first. You'll have a cover memo in there, basically from Justin Wilson, the Comptroller of the Treasury, and there's a press release in there that the mayor has drafted, so you'll have benefit of those comments as well. The one thing you've Ashley's handed something out to you that I think is worth spending a few minutes on. We've made a big deal out of trying to be a little more proactive in predicting where we think we'll end the year. So, Ashley, if you would. comment on the handout, please.
This handout is based on estimates that we started putting together in the spring to try to come up with estimates for year end on how much fund balance we would use and where our revenues and expenses would come in at. And you can see on this the estimates that we gave you around June 30th and where we actually came in at on the audit. And they're all pretty close. The school's numbers, it's based on the information that the school provided, not necessarily on our own estimates.
If I could add a little more comment to that. We've been pretty diligent in trying to make you aware that each month we're performing, Susan and her staff are performing a soft closing on all the operating entities of county government. And part of the purpose of that is to give more concise and timely information on where we're at in the budget and on our financial statements. And as you know, we've got a lot of information that's out there in the public domain, so if you're going to put it in the public domain, we certainly want it to be as right as we can make it. So in this soft closing, we're trying to tie up all loose ends in the course of a month. So, you know, by the end of this week, hopefully we'll have everything ready as of the end of November. And we're providing that to all the operating departments and elected officials so that they'll have benefit of as current information as possible. As a result of that, we're doing it throughout the year on a monthly basis. It makes the closing process a lot less laborious than what it was when I first got here, and certainly before Susan got here. And they've done a lot of work to get things in the position that it's in right now. And as a result of that, we endured a change in audit staff from the comptroller's office this year, and we're making this public at least 3 weeks sooner than it was in any of the previous years. So that's no small undertaking, and frankly, the credit goes to Susan and her staff for being diligent and getting things worked out throughout the course of the year. One point, if you look at the general county information on the handout, where we ended, all these numbers are total fund balance. It includes all reservations as well. When you were provided the FY14 budget, we anticipated using about $3,366,000 of fund balance to balance that budget in 14. As a result, we used about $2,571,000. So we didn't use as much fund balance as we initially thought, and part of that is either it's a combination of revenues performing better than we anticipated and or expenses not materializing to the degree we thought they would. So bottom line is we're trying to do more throughout the course of any month to make sure you've got and the public has access to as accurate information as we can give you. And hopefully this will give you confidence when we tell you something, and we're trying to anticipate activities that occur throughout a year. You'll have a little more confidence in relying on that information. Needless to say, I'm real proud of what they've done.
Mr. Chairman, I move we send this audit report on to the agenda committee.
I have a motion to move it on to the agenda committee. Do I have a second? I'll ask for a roll call vote, please.
Cole? Yes. Lewis?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes.
Moon?
Yes.
Samples? The motion's passed.
And I do want to echo what Randy said, how extremely proud I am of our finance department. This has been very, very hard work, a lot of work, and they've worked with a lot of diligence and professionalism, and to turn this audit out early. And one of the things that I'm the most proud of is the fact that they had no audit findings. And I really appreciate everything y'all did, Susan. At this time, I'll ask if there's any input on items not on the agenda. Seeing none,
Mayor, I have
Yes.
one.
Okay.
Just a point of information. This has to do with the financing of the E3B debt. We had a meeting of the Public Building Authority this morning, and the documents were presented to them. There were several good questions asked by that body, and they unanimously approved the documents that will terminate the swap associated with the $20 million refinancing.
Okay,
Thank you.
all righty. I'll now entertain a motion to adjourn. Adjourn.